This week on My Classic Car. We'll travel to Ocala, Florida for a look at a couple of killer GMs from 1964. We'll take out an incredible Chevy Impala SS and one sweet Pontiac Grand Prix. Plus, we'll check out the latest muscle car engine parts for your ride.
Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Thanks for tuning into My Classic Car, home of the certified car nut. Well, this week we're back in Ocala, Florida to take a look at a couple more beauties out of the collection of Jim and Rick Schmidt. The year is 1964 and we're talking full-size GMs. Let's have a look at how they did it up with style back then. Well, Rick, 64, it was a good year.
It was an excellent year. GM was living high, very profitable, great sales, and their quality was really top notch.
They're building some nice cars, and and now arguably this was a year before the official start of the muscle car era with the 64.5, 65 GTO, but they were building some strong cars even. More quietly.
There was plenty of good performance options. It was just in larger cars. But even as this car shows you, in the entry-level Chevrolet, you could get a really affordable performance car that had tons of style for a price that most any working man could afford back then.
And gorgeous lines. I mean, these have always been, fantastic cars. And I've always loved the roof line on these with these these creases here.
Back then it was such a status symbol to own a convertible that they decided why not shape the hardtops to look like a convertible from a long way away, and and a lot of times they would paint the roofs white to make it simulate a convertible top.
And that's really what they were doing, eh? I didn't realize that, because that's what that's certainly the perception I always got. It's like, oh yeah, a convertible. No, it's a hardtop.
Yeah.
Wow. Side trim is beautiful. Goes from, complete chrome, and then about mid-door, it picks up this what appears to be engine turning.
Yeah, and that was the glamour you got just with the SS package. All SSs had that nice trim on it, and that was a really nice feature. And you could get an SS even with a 6-cylinder back then, is a little known thing.
Well, that was back to whatever box you wanted to check at the dealership.
Exactly.
Really, that's why you have so many weirdly configured cars out there. But that is real. That's actually engine turn.
That's real engine turn metal.
Man. Impala 3 taillights. This looks like a killer restoration. Is this one you guys did?
No, it's not. We thought it was a really clean, nicely restored Impala that had kind of a shaky paint job on it. Turned out that the paint was actually original, and the areas that were restored, which was under hood and the undercarriage had been detailed on it, was just detailing work. All the original interior,
everything.
All the chrome's original, the hubcaps.
Holy cow!
All the weather stripping is original.
So I mean, the interior is completely unrestored, right?
Unrestored, unblemished. It's just a
even the carpets.
Even the carpets.
Wow.
I mean, the car had just about 22,000 original miles on it.
Kind of an interesting dash. It's I like the molding on it, and that center tack, and that would have been a factory.
Yes, that would have been a factory tack that came with the 4-speed 300 horse 327 option. There's just idiot lights for the hot and cold, and oil pressure. But like I always want to say, if you've got your mechanicals right, who needs those?
Right, exactly.
Everybody who's got 5 gauges hanging underneath, hey, why don't you just fix your car?
Right. Factory 4-speed.
Factory 4-speed.
Wow. So this was the 300 horse 327, right?
Right, straight out of the Corvette.
Wow.
It was the same as the base engine that you would get in the Corvette in 1964.
Which I think is a fantastic engine. I mean, I think it's kind of unheralded and everything, but that's a great engine.
It really is. It pulls this car along just great. When it's idling, you don't even know the car is running. It idles so smooth. It cruises down the road beautifully. It's really a nice motor.
And this red is fabulous on this car.
Yeah, it really is, and it sure jumps out in the sunlight as well.
What'd they call it?
Ember Red.
Ember
1964 is what they called this, and I can't think of a better color for this color. This
brings it alive, doesn't it?
For this model, yeah.
So she's a good runner, eh?
Oh, she runs beautiful. Drives like a brand new car.
I'm not going to make any bones about it. Do I get to drive this?
Oh, you always get to drive.
That's why
you always get to drive.
I love coming back.
I always force you to drive.
Yeah, twist my arm. All right,
you
close
get to
her up.
drive Miss Daisy.
Nice. Let's go.
All right.
Coming up, we'll go for a ride in the '64 Chevy Impala SS. But first, we'll check out the latest muscle car engine parts for your ride. My Classic Car is brought to you by Grundy Worldwide Collector Car Insurance.
Hey, in the shop today, I got my good buddy Ernie Silvers from Eggy Machine Company. Ernie, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, you know, Eggy is known for internal engine components for a lot of the old esoteric cars, brass era Model Ts, Model As, which is true and still true, but you are in fact so much more.
We absolutely are. We do cover the range from early 1900s to 1980, and we still do the orphan cars, the A's and the T's and the Chevy 4s and 6s and so forth, but we're now very heavily into the 60s and 70s cars.
That's because that's what everybody wants.
That's what everybody's driving today, you know, as the baby boomers get a little bit older, they're moving into a later era of car, and that's what I brought to show you today.
So we've got a bunch of pistons here for a bunch of different cars.
Gaggle, yes.
A gaggle of pistons for a gaggle of cars. What all are we looking at here?
Well, I brought some big bore Cadillac pistons.
Yeah.
Okay, I brought some Pontiac stuff, big bore Pontiac, AMC,
okay,
Nailhead Buick,
ooh, yeah.
And of course the 455.
The big Buick.
Yeah.
What's this baby?
That is a 283 Chevy. It's for the Corvette motor.
The Fuelie? Ooh.
The Fuelie, uh-huh.
Boy, you've got to be one of the few people that supply that one.
Absolutely. That one has gone obsolete, and we've just started making it here in the recent months, and it's a very popular piston.
I bet. Well, and that's another cool thing, is because I've been there. I've seen you guys make these, and you literally have a couple guys that are pouring molten aluminum.
They are.
Like 2, 3 at a time.
Well, actually, yeah, we're running 2 stations on a daily basis, and 2 guys casting, and then we machine pistons every day.
It's just amazing. I mean, to me, it's like it's true craftsmanship that goes into these. These are virtually handmade.
We're working with original molds and some of the original machining techniques. However, we have incorporated the new technology as well. So. We're still not chiseling them out.
Well, they're aluminum, yeah. But not only do you do the pistons, you have pretty much all sorts of internal components.
We absolutely do. We specialize in individual components like bearings and rings, connecting rods. We're now using scat cranks. We also do rotating assemblies.
Now what's a rotating?
A rotating assembly is a complete set of pistons, rod, crankshaft, bearings, and rings.
It's all the innards.
It's all the innards, all the giddy-up-go stuff. And we're still doing some of the flathead components. You know, flatheads they'll never die.
They'll never die.
They're extremely popular. And we're handling Iscadarian cams as well as making the variety of flathead pistons. We've got the adjustable forward lifters.
That go with all it? Isky cams, flathead pistons, lifters. Now, but this is kind of interesting. What do we have here?
This is a really neat kit. It's from the folks at Best Gasket. It's a rope seal, rear main rope seal. And it's made from braided Teflon coated in graphite.
Ooh, because I mean, originally they were asbestos, right?
They were asbestos, and as you know, asbestos is not a good deal anymore. Well, the rope that they changed to after asbestos, it leaks.
Yeah, it does.
Guys don't like the rope seal. What Best has done again is taken the braided Teflon, coated it in graphite, and they put it in a kit. It comes with a cut-off knife, and it comes with the little tools to cut it.
Put it there, put it on this thing.
Exactly, cut it right off.
Now, does it work?
It absolutely works.
Wow.
It absolutely works, and that's the best thing. It does work. It comes with a neat little kit, and it actually works.
Do you have to convince people initially?
We do, because guys have had a lot of bad luck with the rope seals.
Yeah.
They're not real happy about having to use a rope seal. Once they've used this product from Best, it's fantastic.
They just love it, eh?
They love it.
Ooh. Well, not only do you have shiny things that go inside the engine, you got shiny things that go outside the engine. You got bling.
We do. We've got bling because it has to look good to go fast. So I brought the big Hemi valve cover along with a straight 6.4, just kind of a sampling of the things that we do. It's got to look good to go fast. That's the standard practice. So.
Well, you guys have really been keeping cars on the road for a long time, and you're the only place to go for a lot of these components.
We like to think of ourselves as the only place to go. Eggy was established in 1915.
Wow.
And so we've been doing this a little while.
So you kind of know your way around.
We're still trying to figure it out, I think. But no, we're doing fine with it, I believe.
That's dynamite. Well, hey, if you want to learn anything more about any of these great Eggy internal engine components or some of the bling on the outside, log on to myclassiccar.com. I do like that Hemi cover.
I can set you up with a couple if you want.
What about the Hemi that goes underneath it?
Well, I don't know.
Eastwood.com. Unique tools, coatings, supplies, and solutions for all your restoration needs. Next, we'll go cruising around Ocala, Florida in a beautiful 64 Chevy Impala SS.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. You know, just having a 4-speed in a car this size, you know, I mean, big cars now, it's all automatic, and even, you know, even back then it was mostly automatic. I mean, this was a sports car. It was a sport full size. Would there have been a bigger engine you could get with this in 64, or was this the top engine, do you know?
No, there were plenty of bigger engines. Well, basically you had the 409 in 3 different states of tune, 340 horse, and then the higher horsepower 409, and then the 425 horse dual 4-barrel 409. A lot of times we find these cars that were really coveted and treasured by their original owners were always special order cars too. The guy got it, the colors, the engines, just got it exactly the way he wanted it. But I find that to be the exception, not the norm from the 60s, because back then people could afford a new car practically every year. They'd trade the old one in, buy a new model. And so they, in some ways, they treated the cars in much of the respect that, I'm just going to trade it in a year from now, and didn't take really good care of it. I don't think anybody was really all too concerned about investment potential whatsoever, so finding cars that really got taken care of nicely is hard to do.
None of your engine turning is scratched. I mean, it's like, it really was like hermetically sealed or something in a garage somewhere.
That's why I really think that in that we've been collecting these low-mile, unrestored cars, that in the end, those are going to be the real holy grails, the cars that you can't just go out and pay a restoration shop to make for you, the cars that show the way things were made, the way that men built them back in the day, and that lucked upon an owner who stayed out of it enough to where it survived.
Need parts for your classic cruiser? Then check out this week's Classic Car Marketplace.
Eggy Machine Company, turning dream cars into drivable realities. Eggy is your complete source for nostalgic speed equipment, complete engine kits and rotating assemblies, pistons and rings, gasket sets, pump remanufacturing, and more. Cruise Eggy's online catalog at eggy.com or call us at 866-587-EGGY. If you're restoring a classic GM car or truck, Classic Industries has the largest inventory of original and reproduction parts and accessories in the business. Call 888-GM-CATALOG to get the catalog of your choice, or go online to classicindustries.com and start shopping today. See why Classic Industries is America's first choice in GM restoration and performance parts and accessories. Steel Rubber Products supplies only the highest quality restoration rubber parts. Call for your free 568-page catalog featuring a huge selection of the rubber parts you need when you need them. Call 1-800-834-7833 or visit our website at steelrubber.com. Steel Rubber Products, helping restore the car of your dreams. Still ahead, we'll check out an amazing 64 Pontiac Grand Prix.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. Perfect. I love it. Let's do the Pontiac.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Gorgeous car. That Impala is sweet.
That Impala does everything right, doesn't it?
It does.
It doesn't have a rattle to it.
No, and you know, got a lot of, you know, it's strong.
Yeah.
I got 4-speed. But that's one look at a full size. Here's a completely different look at full size in 64.
Yeah, this is back when a Chevrolet was a Chevrolet and a Pontiac was Pontiac, and very little tied the two cars together.
So this is a 64 Grand Prix.
Grand Prix, yes. Yep.
Well, the lines are so different because the Impala's got a lot of smoother, more, you know, rounded flowing lines. This has got a lot of Pontiac edge to it.
This has got a lot of Pontiac edge to it.
You know, I love the roof. I mean, first of all, it's very square and it's very sharp, and the way it cants back is nice.
Yeah, and that concave rear glass.
Oh,
this
that looks
entire
so
roof, right down into the windshield and the pillars, is shared with the Buick Wildcat, and it was unique to the Grand Prix. No other full-size Pontiac carried this roof on it, and that was one of the styling features that made the Grand Prix unique.
Yeah, and when you get behind it, you really see how that roof comes down, but then the rear quarters flare out. And again, it's very custom looking.
Yeah, it just has a lot of presence.
Love the taillight setup, really neat rear end.
Yeah, now on the rear end, again on the Grand Prix, on a regular Pontiac, on a Bonneville or a Catalina, your lens here was red and this was your tail lamp. For the Grand Prix, they wanted to get kind of trick with it, so they changed the tail lamp into a backup lamp. Wow. And your tail lamps are here, hidden behind this fin panel. So you only see them when you actually put on the brakes or turn your lights on. It's
Again,
really,
that kind of stealthy, kind of stealth-like custom cruiser.
Right.
Now this is a restoration. You guys did this one, so this has been completely redone, and the color is not really black. It's a deep, deep blue.
It's a deep, deep blue, beautiful color. It's called Nocturne Blue, and yeah, you get it in different lights or inside, and it looks very, very black.
Well, and it looks great with the blue interior, and like you say, I mean, this is completely different than the Chevy. Completely different.
Where the Chevy was just so clean and flowing and minimalist, this is every last whistle and bell, every knob done in a chrome die cast.
Now, is that real wood too? That's not wood grain, that's wood.
That's real wood, yeah. That's a real wood veneer.
And that's not a tack, it's a manifold vacuum gauge.
It's a manifold vacuum
gauge.
Why? Why not?
Why not? So what powered the Grand Prix? Would have been
this one right here. It comes, yeah, with the base engine that would have come with the Grand Prix is what's in this car, which is a 389 4-barrel, puts out 303 horsepower. And anybody who's driven a Pontiac 389 just knows that they're just beautiful running engines.
And that baby blue block.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, this is a restoration. You guys have totally redone this one.
Yeah, well, when we bought it, it was a restoration, but it was another one of those swap meet buys where we didn't get a chance to drive the car and found out that the original restorer made it look good, but the car really wasn't drivable. The brakes weren't adjusted. It didn't run properly.
Well, it was in the shop a couple of years that I know of.
Yeah, getting the bodywork straightened out, putting a proper finish of paint on it, and then we just brought everything up to a higher level than it was. Totally redid the interior on the car.
She's gorgeous.
What was a fairly nice restored car when we bought it, we really are proud of now. And,
well, I gotta believe this baby turns heads.
It turns a lot of heads, and it gets a lot of interest at shows. Just like anything unique, you know, everybody's nostalgic about the Chevys, but when they see these old Pontiacs, they're like, wow, I just never see those anymore. Right, and it's the novelty of not seeing something that really drags people's interest over.
Let's go turn some heads.
Let's do that.
I'll drive. What do you say?
As always.
As always. Let's go.
Stay close. We'll cruise the back roads of Ocala, Florida in the Pontiac Grand Prix. Brought to you by Grundy Worldwide Collector Car Insurance. And by U-Coat It, the official floor coating of Eastwood Garage.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. All right, let's ride. Ooh, love that sound. Oh, it's got that wild reverse shift pattern, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're still hanging on to that.
We're off. This is really sleek. You know, you can feel the power, the style. It's Pontiac through and through.
Yeah, it's screaming Pontiac at you, and it's got tons of pizzazz in the interior, so much chrome and contrast, and the ribbing. It's almost overpowering, but on the other hand, it's great.
I guess I'm just sort of amazed there's real wood. It's even in the steering wheel, that's wood. That's not wood grain, that's wood.
Right.
I thought they'd quit doing that by then. I thought everything was plastic by then.
You look at everything in this interior, and then I always have to remind people back in the 60s and the 50s, every year they changed everything.
It's true.
Each year they tooled up and did just a completely different thing. So when you look at all the detail that goes into one of these interiors, and imagine them doing all that engineering and tool work
every year
just for a single model year, and then in the case of the Grand Prix for a relatively limited production.
This is a great cruiser though. And when you do hit the brakes, it stops just straight as an arrow. Again, your restorations are really done right. Because not only does it look great, it performs just like it's supposed to in every way. This was reasonably heavily optioned, right? I mean, I see you got power windows, you got AC on it, power steering, power brakes. There wasn't a heck of a lot more you could hang on this car, was there?
No, not a heck of a lot more. That's kind of why we took a step back. Like I said, after we bought the car, it turned out to be so out of sorts and needing so many things that at first we were thinking to ourselves, boy, do we really want to get involved in re-restoring this car? And at first we didn't. And then the more we looked at it, thought about the options and the colors and everything else, the more we kind of swayed back to the other side. And I'll tell you what, now that the car is done and turned out as beautifully as it did, there's not zero regret. It's been a really fun car to have and drive since we've had it finished.
It's a pretty special car. Well, you know, all I can say is 1964 was indeed a very good year. I love coming down here to Ocala because the NPD collection cars are just beyond reproach, and they let me drive them all. We'll be back.
Next week, we'll travel to Wildwood, New Jersey for the Boardwalk Car Show. This is an East Coast gathering of some of the wildest rides around. Plus, we'll look at crate engines to get your car cruising.
So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring.
Attention, My Classic Car fans. Go online now to check out our latest selection of DVDs. Order the MCC Legendary Chevys. It includes the Corvette, 409, the Amazing Cheetah, and many more, only $19.95. Or order the legendary Fords or Mopars or GM Special Vehicles. Just can't get enough MCC? Now you can get all 26 episodes from the 2007 season in one DVD set.